Welcome to another episode of Broken But Not Out. Man, you'd think after doing this for years, I would figure out how not to screw up the name, but apparently I can't do that. I mean, it's been happening for a long time. So, but anyways, I kind of want to get into what has been, what happened with the last couple of months, us going down to Texas and stuff like that. So, here's kind of the rundown. We moved down there with the thought that we would have a house and everything set up, possible jobs lined up, stuff like that. Well, on the way down there, plans kind of changed. So when we got down there, we had bought a camper trailer for my mother-in-law. And so we're like, all right, cool. She's going to stay in that. We're going to live in a house, because it was planned out. It was a nice house. It was a 4-bedroom house on like 5 acres. It was really nice. Well, when we got down there, plans had changed. So we ended up setting up and camping for a month out on our friend's land. And again, thank you, Ken Andrews, for all of that. While we were looking, everything was just really hard. My workman's comp got taken out of the picture. If you've listened to my other episodes, you'll know why. But that got taken out. Trying to find a job. Luckily, my father-in-law set up a GoFundMe, which is still active, on a GoFundMe site, which I can add the link into this. But that's pretty much what kept us afloat. But it was, needless to say, it was a struggle down there. I mean, it was pretty cool. Tell you what, you cannot see any cooler stars and sky than down there. I mean, it's just awesome. When like you shut the lights off, it looked like an old black and white movie. I mean, you could still see everything. It was beautiful. I mean, Texas is beautiful. I'm not going to lie on that. But we went down there. You stay down there in a camper for the first month. Luckily, we met a guy that we thought at the time was a good guy. That turned out not true. But he was a preacher. And he's like, well, I've got a house that you guys can use. It's like, okay, cool. He's like, I'm going to go in there. Right now, it has no running water. And the bathroom, there was none. There was a back room, but the wall was kind of starting to fall. So he was said he's going to fix that. He's going to fix everything up. Let us live in there for 2 months for free. And after 2 months, he would start charging us like $750 a month for rent, but he was going to get all this stuff fixed up. Well, needless to say, a month and a half went by, and he told us, you guys have to get out. And his reasoning was because we had started going to church and all that stuff when he was, when we first met him. But due to everything going on with my wife and the kids and trying to find a job and all this, we just did not have time to do the church thing like almost 7 days a week. It just wasn't feasible. So after a month and a half went by, he told us that since we weren't God-fearing people, we had to get out. So it's like, okay. And he told us everything would be, rent-free, and he'd take care of all this stuff. Never did any of it, never anything. So we ended up moving out after a month and a half. We ended up buying a really nice camper trailer, and we had the other one. So down there, it's pretty typical to see families living in, RV parks with their RVs and campers and stuff like that, because you can live in one all year round. Not a big deal. So that's what we did. So for the next week, we stayed at one, which we didn't really set up too much because we knew we were going to be leaving that one. And then after that, we moved into a really nice one down there. And I mean, it was nice, but we ended up, I was trying to work. I was working at 3M for a little over a week, and my kids ended up, while I started working at 3M, they came up to visit my mom and uncle and that. and two of them were going to stay up here because they just weren't liking it down there. And we're like, all right, cool, no problem. Well, and then our youngest decided he was going to stay up here. And at first, I was against the idea because, we wanted to try getting everything set up. But realizing that we wanted to be closer to family, and we ended up coming back up here. Well, it wasn't, so bad. We stayed down there for another month while doing that and trying to get everything set up. And we got rolling, which driving cross country isn't too bad when you're by yourself. Now, when you're driving cross country and you've got, you know, two children with you and three dogs, and you've got one camper trailer, because we ended up selling the first one we brought down because it wasn't big enough. But towing that thing up here with my truck, which is an old, it's a 2005 F-250 with the Power Stroke in it, but it was no fun. I mean, it wouldn't have been so bad if the camper wasn't loaded down with all of our stuff, the truck wasn't loaded down in the bed with, a lawnmower, bikes, and all that fun stuff. But the nice thing is on our way back, for the first time in a long time, we stopped in Iowa. I got to visit my little sister Angie, and she's amazing. Her family is amazing. Her husband's a great guy. Her daughter is great. I mean, I can say I've got an amazing niece. And we stayed there, and to be honest, that is, I think, where my wife and I want to eventually end up, is by my sister, because it was just awesome having somebody that has been through a lot. And it's like almost in a way, like my wife is a lot like my sister, and especially medical wise. Those two like go down the same path with medicines and allergies and all that fun stuff. So, and her husband is really cool because he's a lot like I am, and especially with like the Hot Wheels and then NASCAR and video games and stuff like that. I mean, when we went down there, my wife and I, we just did not want to leave. We wanted to stay down there as long as we could. And it was my niece's birthday yesterday, so happy birthday. But we have made plans that we want to come down at least one weekend a month to kind of reconnect, because it'd been about 21 years since I seen her. And the last time I seen her, she didn't remember I was there because she had been into a really bad car accident. So, which obviously I do not hold that against her, because I mean, if you were in that shape, there's no way you're going to remember anything of what's going on. But it was really cool to reconnect with her. Like I said, my little sister's amazing, and I feel bad because with missing 20 years of both of our lives, that's 20 years we can't get back. And we've been starting to talk a lot more. We've called each other several times on the phone within the last you know week and a half, almost 2 weeks. And I can't say enough about her and my niece and my brother-in-law. They're great people. And it just, being around them, it feels like there's something there that's been missing for a while. So, special thanks to my sister, her husband, and my niece. But then we ended up getting back here. We've been kind of we've been staying at my mom's house for now. We're trying to find somewhere else because I love my mom and my uncle, don't get me wrong, but it's that feeling that like you pretty much failed and you're back at, the start of everything, then it sucks. I mean, at 43 years old, I should have my own house. I should be, surviving a lot better, but it's been a struggle since we got back. I've been trying to find work, and that's hasn't been too easy because a lot of people won't touch me due to my foot. because I mean everything's been cleared and all this, but they look in the past and it's like, okay, well, if his foot's like this, what's going to happen the next time? Because it's not an injury that you can just kind of walk away from. Pun on words. But trying to get everything moving has been a struggle. um Depression sets in, which is never fun. Like, I used to get up and want to get everything going and do things and all this, and now it's like you just have no ambition to get moving. I mean, it's partially due to the fact that I don't know. It's hard to describe. But when you sit there and you get into a depression, it just makes it feel like, all I want to do is just be in bed all day. I don't want to be around anything. I don't want to be around anybody. And that's not me. I mean, usually I'm up, moving around, trying to do stuff, get stuff done. And it's just been difficult. I mean, it'd be nice if I had somebody close that I, could talk to and go to and stuff like that. But I don't have that. And I'm not going to burden my wife with every little issue that, obviously, she's going through the same thing. She's dealing with a lot more. I mean, she's got with the fourth stage brain cancer and advanced leukemia and everything else. I mean, it's not something I want to keep pushing onto her plate. So it's been rough, but we're getting through it. I mean, everybody keeps saying, you got to have faith and all this, and it's not that simple. I mean, it's not that I don't believe in God and stuff like that, but when you've had so much happen to you in life that you think, at some point in time, things have got to come to a head or got to stop, and it just doesn't, and it keeps piling up and piling up and piling up. I mean, like the last time my wife had cancer was when she got into remission. It's like, all right, cool, we're through that. So it's just really hard to have faith in everything and believe in God and all that. I'm not saying anything against anybody that does believe, because I mean everybody is entitled to their thoughts, their opinions, their what they want to believe in, what they don't want to believe in. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against anybody. I mean, obviously, unless you say you're like, Satan worshiper and stuff, I might stay a little clear of that. But hey, to each their own. At the end of the day, to each their own. And nobody really knows what's, happens after we're done with this life and move on to another one. I mean, there could be a heaven and hell. It could be just everything's done in black. And then it could be, you start life over again or you're reincarnated. It's just, there's so many different beliefs out there. So it's really hard to tell on that. But at, at some point, it's just things have got to kind of cool down and get better. But I know we're in for another battle because of, the people that live up here. So it's going to come again. We already know this. We're expecting it. I'm just not getting into that portion because we just don't need that added crap in our lives. But, it's going to come again because somebody just can't stop. So luckily there's things in place against it, but, we'll see. We know what's going to happen. So surprise. But needless to say, that's pretty much everything that happened on, the reason why we came back up here. I don't think we really want to be up here. I mean, there is parts of me that feel like Wisconsin is home. But to be honest, I want to move on and move on with my life. I mean, my wife and I, we want to move on with our lives. We want to get everything straightened out and settled and just be free from everything. But we just know being here, things are just going to draw out. And, you know, with what my wife's going through, We don't know. I mean, she's starting like more natural remedies and stuff like that. And we don't know what the outcome is going to be of that. I mean, she's basically said that she wants to live her life and be healthy and everything. She stopped the chemo and that because the chemo was killing her. It dropped her down to almost 50 pounds. And it just, now that she stopped doing chemo, she's more healthier, she's more active, but we don't know the outcome of what's going to happen. So fingers crossed with that. But, well, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's, we're back now. We're getting things straightened around. Hopefully, I can start work here shortly somewhere. And I just want to say, well, good night and thank you for listening.